Hey everybody, welcome back to Play-Doh's Cave. Today I'm going to do a video on philosophy, specifically Desiderius Erasmus. I was reading through an anthology book and ran across Praise of Folly, the Praise of Folly, and it just blew me away. I thought it was a brilliant philosophical insight, and whoever did the translation is just a wonderful writer in the version that I have. I think it was translated from Latin. But Erasmus, he was born in 1466 in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. He was a Dutch Christian Catholic priest. He put together editions of the New Testament in Latin and Greek, which was an important contribution to Martin Luther's Protestant Reformation. He didn't really like Martin Luther as much because Martin Luther was giving his finger to the Catholic Church, whereas Erasmus was an actual Catholic priest. So he just realized the things that needed to be changed. And this was in the middle of the heat of the European Renaissance, and so he was a big part of the northern aspect. He was heavily influenced by Epicurus, much like myself, and he also really liked Cicero. Praise of Folly was written in 1509 and published in 1511. Erasmus was going over the Swiss Alps for the third time to, visit England, and he was probably like, "Why the hell are we doing this? This is ridiculous." Back then, the traveling was probably, hard, right? People died and got dysentery, and it was like Oregon Trail, but real life, But he thought of the book, and just to give you guys perspective, Praise of Folly was published in 1511, and Michelangelo finished the Sistine Chapel in 1512. So, a ton of stuff was going on. The Portuguese, they were trading with China, Indochina, 1514. A lot of stuff was happening. And to his benefit, the Gutenberg press had been around for, about 100 years. So he was really, really, well, I guess not 100. It was like, the Gutenberg press started churning in like 1450, so 16 years before his birth. So by the time he was old enough to write Praise of Folly, there was a lot of stuff in circulation already, and that was good for him. Gutenberg was a real G on that one. But Praise of Folly is basically a woman. She's telling an audience of gods and different people. She's telling them basically like logic is fine and everything, and being a Stoic is cool, but some of the best things come from the stupidity and the lack of rationalization in just everyday people, let alone thinking men or thinking women or people. It's like we as creatures our senses are limited to a certain extent, so we're able to really fall back in comfort and sometimes euphoria in the fact that our decisions and mistakes are completely acceptable because it's part of our nature. So I'm going to read the first paragraph of the piece of work, and afterwards we'll kind of break down what she's saying and what Erasmus was trying to say. So Folly herself speaks. Whatever mortals commonly say about me, and I am not unaware of how bad Folly's reputation is, even among the biggest fools of all, still it is quite clear that I myself, the very person now standing here before you, I and I alone, pour forth joy into the hearts of gods and men alike. Hence, it is that as soon as I come out to speak on this numerous gathering, the faces of all of you immediately brighten up with a strange, new expression of joy. you all suddenly perked up and greeted me with happy, congenial laughter, so much so that every last one of you here before me, wherever I look, seems to be high in the nectar of the Homeric gods, and on the drug nepenthe, too, whereas before you all sat there downcast and tense, as if you had just come back from the cave of Trophonius. But when the sun first reveals his fair golden face to the earth, or when a harsh winter yields to the balmy breezes of early spring, everything suddenly takes on a new appearance, a new color, and a certain youthful freshness. So too, when you caught sight of me, your faces were transformed. Thus, what these eloquent orators can hardly accomplish in a long and carefully thought out speech, namely to clear the mind of troubles and sorrows, that very goal I achieve in a flash simply by making an appearance. So, what she's basically telling everybody, like, you guys with your wisdom, your oracles, Trophonius, it's like a famous Greek oracle. She's basically saying, without me, none of that would be able to thrive or exist. Like, I enter the room and everybody greets me with euphoria and, almost like we're on drugs, nepenthe or nepenthe, I don't know how you pronounce it, but, she's basically saying, you guys are fumbling after me. And that's true in a sense, because folly is, the inability to kind of see reality in a completely rational way. So as we kind of stumble forward through our lives and our realities, we, as, illogical beings with folly, make mistakes and choices that take us down incredible paths sometimes. I'm sure many of us, can think about a mistake that we made, and looking back on it, it's hilarious. At the time, it might not have been as funny, but in the future, you can look back on it and gain knowledge from it and move forward in some sort of positive way. Personally, I don't think there's anything that you can't, reframe in a positive mindset. So that kind of thing can be totally given to folly, is what she's arguing. She's saying that without me, there would be pure logic and no one would be happy. And that's only in the first paragraph. The rest of the story and the rest of the piece, she goes on to call out all of these gods that represent different things and, basically say, I'm the one that gave birth to you. Because without me, your subjects never would have made the decisions they did, and they never would have experienced the things that they did and establish reality so that you can be involved too, I guess. And Erasmus is also clearly calling out Stoics in this a lot. He says it firsthand. He says that these Stoics, with all of their, all of their wanting to limit earthly pleasures for the sake of logic and harmony with some sort of God figure. Folly saying they punish themselves so that they can be closer to something, when in reality the happiest people are those that just experience. He kind of plays the Thanos' curse, right? Like, you're not the only one that's cursed with knowledge. But it's true. When you're sitting there and you're thinking about something, it makes sense not to even go outside. People don't. The world is a very dangerous place, and many, many, many things that people do every day in the presence of folly, a lot of people have reasons not to do that, right? You could take buying a car as a good example. Some people go to car lots, and buy brand new cars, whereas some other people might think that's ridiculous, and why would you do that? And there's so many reasons why you shouldn't do that. You could just buy a used car that's cheaper and work on it yourself, and blah blah blah. You know, the logical pathway goes on forever. But that person, even if they acted without their self-interest in mind, in folly, and this is just a rough example, they're still buying a car. That thing is still making them feel good. Really happiest when we don't know what's going on, and we're immersed in mystery, and we're moving forward, and we're learning. It's not very fun just to sit around and think all the time and try to know everything. It's impossible, you know. It's impossible for humans to do that. We have to. It's yin and yang. It's the chaos versus the order. We have to be able to move forward and exist in both. It's very, very important. So I highly encourage everybody to check out this text. It's incredible. It's such a good read. I was in a terrible mood when I read it, and by the end of it I was just laughing. It makes so much sense. The philosophy of it is incredible. Erasmus also has many, many other works that you can check out for yourselves. And yeah, so our next video, my next video, is probably going to be a gaming video. I think I'm going to be playing Dragon's Dogma. Fair warning in advance, I don't have a capture card. I don't have any type of device to really cleanly capture my gameplay, so I'll take some pictures and I'll throw them in here for you guys of my setup and how I have to capture my game video. I'm trying to make it look as good as possible, and I have to shoot most of the footage at night because the window faces sunlight, and it just gives the worst glare. Worst. I can't get around it. It's kind of an older TV, so it doesn't have the good anti-glare. But yeah, I'm gonna be playing Dragon's Dogma, and I'm not sure if that video is gonna come out tomorrow or the next day. I honestly have no idea how someone like Nearly Senior Citizen puts out 3 videos a day. That's incredible. He's got that just plugged in. It amazes me. But alright guys, thanks for stopping by. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. You guys all know how to do that. But stay tuned. Thanks.